what is up? It is Bitcoin halving this week. And is the correction over or is it just beginning? VeChain has a huge partnership going on with UFC. We're going to talk about that. But first of all, what's up? Welcome, Johnny Crypto. We got you in the house today. It is a party.
Yes, it is. And boy, what a party it was this weekend. But let me start this out like we always do, Jenna. Good evening to all the crypto maniacs out there who show up every single day. We love you guys. We appreciate you for being here tonight. And boy, what a weekend it was, Jenna. Woo! I'll tell you, no doubt about it, the markets got rocked. Unfortunately, obviously, as Iran was doing that to Israel, really, really sad. Prayers and wishes to go out to everybody in Israel and their families. But boy, yeah, it totally rocked the stock market, or I should say the crypto market this weekend.
Oh, Johnny, did it ever. Guys, before I want to tell you about my experience, I want to give a shout out to everybody that's here hanging out. What's up, Snoop? Yes, that's right. We are the D-Gens. D-Gens in the house. David's in the house. Brian's in the house. Hey, Brian. Grumpy Dad. I don't know why you're grumpy, but I hope you get happy, but that's fine. My dad's grumpy too. Alexandra G, she's in the house, and I have modded her up, so she should have a wrench now. Looking fine. Awesome, guys. Thanks for hanging out. If you are on Twitter and you want to jump in the chat live, come on over to YouTube. That is where we are hanging out. Smash that like whenever you're jumping in. It helps with the algo. We appreciate it because, give us some love. All right. Yeah. So let me tell you, Johnny, about my weekend.
Talk to me.
Johnny, okay. So I have been trading a lot, right? And I've been doing pretty good. Well, so last week, we had the first kind of dump, right? It sucked. And that was after we had some Fed folders, Fed meetings, all that shit. All right. And we were actually kind of dumpy a little bit before that. Bitcoin wasn't doing so hot. And then, of course, this weekend, right when I think that I have the dip, like this is the dip and I'm going to mitigate my positions, I went too heavy. I put too much of my portfolio at risk and I wiped out $36,000. So that was in my futures, guys. This is why you use stop losses. And yeah, but here's the thing. This is that's 3 months of trading, which is a lot, right? But it wasn't my hodl bags. I hit gains like a 20x on Peasy. I paid off school debt. I paid off my vehicle. And then I hit another, I don't know, it was like a 10x on car token. And I paid off some other real world things, right? So nice. I am so grateful and it is so fine. And it happens. But the biggest takeaway from this is, what did I learn from it? I learned a new strategy with the 50 and 100 EMA crossing, and I would have never entered into some of the positions that I did had I known that. I also made too big of positions, put too much of my portfolio at risk, which I've learned better risk management. And your homegirl might actually start using stop losses now because that was a really big eye opener. It's like I cannot believe how much it dumped. And that is such manipulation. You can't tell me that it's not manipulated.
No, so you have to remember this. Remember this. The elites, the big boys, the guys who run the markets, they can see all the leverage in the background. They can see. It's kind of like playing a poker game, and you can see the cards of the other players. And right. So when you understand that, what you want so that's number one. You have to understand they can see your cards throughout the whole entire game. Okay, that's number one. Now, number two, when the leverage gets to a certain point, too far in one direction, they are not going to let you make all that money. They're going to wipe that leverage out because that's money that they make. I tell this all the time, Jenna. You have to remember that the market is nothing but a big pool where we're all, you, me, everybody in that chat, we're just putting our money in the pool, and we have to be smarter than the other people in the pool to be able to try and take it back out. Problem is, we're dealing with people that can see things we can't.
Exactly.
So if you're gonna play in that game, not you personally, but you in general, you have to understand the game's rigged against you. You don't have the upper hand. and you're most likely going to lose your money. So what do? You play it smart, like you said. You learn that leverage. How he
You a
knows it.
Fed, Johnny.
Am I a Fed? No. You want to know what I am? I'm a guy who's lost a lot of money like you did, Jenna, playing this game. And then I started researching it. Why do I always lose? And why does it always do the opposite of what I think? And then you realize after you've been in this space long enough, you say, holy cow. When you learn, you know what? I should pull up the psychology of the market in
Cool.
chart.
Yeah. If you
I
can
should pull
find
that up.
that, that's
Yeah,
good.
and then I'll find it later and I'll pull it up. When you understand that we have been analyzed, they have paid millions of dollars to understand how our brains think so that they can then know how to take our money away. And one of the ways, of course, that they do it is through our emotions, Jenna. Emotions are so tough to deal with. And so they know how to make us react a certain way. And so think about this, Jenna. You got excited. You saw things moving a certain way. They set you up so good. They made you think this thing was going to keep going. And what did you do? You over leveraged. And what do they do?
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
Pull that rug out from
Listen,
underneath you. And
because Johnny, any idiot can make money when the market's going up, right? But
right.
you just like it's like that timing. You're literally playing a game of hot potato. But here's the thing. I know that I'm going to have less greed going into it this time and take more off the table. But the biggest thing is like I was really proud of myself that I made that much in such a short amount of time. And I know that I can do it again. I didn't blow the whole account. So I'm starting out with a lot less, but I know I can build it up again because at the end of the day, I have a skill set, right? And
Yeah.
I've a huge learning experience, but that's worth more to me, you know what I mean, than any money because I know that I can take whatever and I can go into the markets and I can do it again. But I'm going to take a break from it because right now it's too unstable. It's all over the place. Honestly, it looks like shit. Probably I would do well shorting everything, but it's just it's really tough to trade right now. And until I see setups that I really, really like, I'm not going to force trades and I'm just going to be smart about it. Johnny, look, I got a Bitcoin shirt on today.
Oh my God, look at you. You know,
Remember?
oh my God. You're going to start getting called the Max now. Watch.
I
Jenna's
know people.
It's unbelievable, Jen. It's so important. And I think for all of our audience listening, understand that it is easy. As a matter of fact, Jen, I was in the same boat as you were 4 years ago. This is how I know. I was doing what you were doing. I was leveraging the shit out of my accounts. I was making money. I didn't have to think. I could literally leverage anything. I was leveraging Cardano, Ethereum Classic, EOS, and I was just making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
One day, I got greedy because I'm like, this is freaking easy. And I put it and I really over leveraged. And son of a bitch, sure enough, 3 days later, they did a leverage swipe, right? Wiped everybody out like this weekend. And I ended up losing, $10,000-$15,000 overnight. And I was like, you know what? Never playing that leverage game again because you never know when they're going to pull the trap door out from underneath you. If I play it, I'll play it very, very low, very small amounts. But I just don't over leverage very heavy anymore. There he is. Look at Abs.
Abs in the house.
Shout out to my man Abs, the greatest host in the world. But yeah, Jenna. So I just tell everybody, I caution, be careful. If you're going to play now, here's the good news: they just wiped everybody out.
Right.
So if you're going to play, now's the time to start playing again. Sit, watch the market, see where it's going. But the good news is, if you got wiped out, or if you weren't in it and the wipeout happens, this is probably the time. Like, so myself and Abs, we were buying this weekend. I wasn't leveraging, but I was buying some
42-cent XRP, man. 42-cent XRP. I was like, all right, I like that price. I didn't like it when I was in a long, but I like it now.
Yeah, you
so
like it.
I did jump back
in. When you could buy into it, right?
Yeah.
But for everybody out there, pay attention to this chart. It's called the Wall Street Psychology chart, and you can see that they really have this game rigged. It's all set up based on. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger.
Yeah, try to zoom in.
Yeah. Can I zoom in a little bit bigger? No, that's about all it's going to let me do. Oh, there we go. But so you can kind of see, Jenna, like look at it, right? As the price starts going up, look what happens to your human emotion. You get optimism. You get belief. You think it's time to get fully invested. Look at Thrill, right? You go, I'm going to buy more margin. You get to Euphoria. You think you're a genius, right? You think you know it all, but nope. The big boys know There is nobody left to come in at this point, and they're going to
Mhm.
yank that thing on you. And and I mean, you can clearly see here. Look at the Bitcoin chart. It literally is. Look at that. I mean, talk about a complete, duplicate of this here. I mean, you can kind of see clearly what's happening, right? They're literally identical charts. Look at this is the concept, and this is it in practical use, and you can see it all the time. Happens all the time. So when you know this game and you know how to play it, you really start to say, okay, let me make sure that I don't over leverage. Let me make sure that I play it, that I'm doing the opposite of what everybody else is doing, because again, they're not going to make it easy to make money. And you talked about the fear, and you talked about the fear and the greed, right? And if you look at where we were last week, Jenna, we were at an 80. Our greed was so high. Like if you look at that, you got to say to yourself, and this is another thing I would add to your lessons learned. Look at the fear and greed. If you're in the 80, don't leverage. That's crazy.
I know,
Right?
but I did it anyway, Johnny. I was like, well,
Oh,
this shit's still flagging out. It might flag out one more time.
you
And
know why you did?
I button mashed. I button mashed because I
You
was
know
making
why?
too much money. That's
Because,
why. I didn't think I
because
was gonna stop.
you're human. Because of this right here. Because of this, and because you're human, I totally expect. Here's the good news, Jenna. You just earned a $36,000 college education.
Yeah,
You
it was
learned now
tuition.
their tuition, right? That's your tuition. You learned it, and hopefully everybody in the chat that's watching has also learned it, so they don't make the same mistake we've made in the past and try to go and over leverage all the time. Just be mindful. Like you said, you talked about the 50 EMA versus the 20. Look at the fear and greed index. Right? Start putting some of these things together and say, you know what? If it feels too good, I better, take some profits, but don't get over greedy, because when you do, that's when they're going to get you.
Mm-hmm. And also, I need to flip to reverse. Had I hit the reverse button on Mexi when all that shit started going down, I would have saved a lot too. So that was another lesson. But it's okay, guys. Ain't worried about it. All right. Like my fortune cookie said, keep on keeping on. And I needed to see that today. I saw that and I was like, you know what? Hot damn, I will. I will do just
That's it.
that.
Remember this, Jenna. You have your health, and health is wealth. If you have your health, you have everything else. You can always recover from a crash as long as you have.
Yes, Johnny. Yes. And I'm grateful for all of the awesome, blessings that I've had for that. Now, listen, I know you've got these crypto bubbles pulled up, and there's one I want to talk about because it has been so resilient this whole time. And no, it's not a shitcoin. And I think it's really important to look at because while everything else was going down, this one was like, it was super strong. It held up amazing. So I'll talk about it after you go over these bubbles.
Yeah, so when we look at the the bubbles, boy, we've got a lot of red out there, Jenna, today. There's a few. Obviously, core, something's going on with core. That seems to be holding up. OKB. And other than that, I mean, a little bit of Doge, XMR, nothing really happening here. Just other than a lot of red. When we look at our Merlin market fear and greed, our market updates, we see that Bitcoin, as obviously market's red right now. We got a $2.3 million market cap right now. So we lost a good, I think about 400 billion this weekend on that. We've got the Bitcoin dominance at around 54%. Our man Gonzo has been predicting that we would probably see as high as 60. So keep an eye on that. That'll be interesting. Once we start to see that Bitcoin dominance get up there and then kind of pull back and crash, remember, that money then starts that rotational effect into the rest of the market. So when you start to see Bitcoin dominance come down, with the price coming down, that's a really, really good sign that alt season may be starting up. And we look at everything; it's just red across the board. Jenna, Bitcoin at 63,000. You got Ethereum at 3,000. We've got BNB at 546. Solana, this was $200 a couple days ago. We're at 137. We got XRP, like you said, under 50 cents again. Doge, 15 cents. Elon won't stop. I'll tell you this one. This one has been impressive. Tone Coin. This Tone Coin sitting up around $7. Now, that's the Telegram, the Telegram open
Yeah.
token. That thing, man, I'll tell you, that one has been sitting pretty strong. Cardano, 45 cents. So, again, an opportunity. AVAX, $34. There's just so many good bargains out here. But I'll tell you what, Jenna, I'm not jumping in too quick because I'm not so sure we're done going down. I still think we're going to get the double tap. As BC Backer says, we come, we pull back, we've touched down. Now we're going to kind of get, a little dead cat bounce, and we got to retest again before we
That's
get
my
that
thought.
next leg up.
Every time that we've had a liquidity hunt, like all of these stop hunts, we always gradually, if you look like January 3rd, we had that dump, then we started to gradually come down most all of the alt tokens back down to where it was, right? And then once we hit that area, then we started our uptrend again for the next
Yep.
few months. And I feel like we need to make a double bottom. I don't feel convinced either, unless like we're coming back down, we're testing that support, we're finding it, otherwise it's like where the hell is the bottom? So I hope that
Yeah.
we find that. But core, that's a different one. That's not corium. That's what some people were on here saying. It's not the same core, guys. The core that Johnny's talking about is the layer 1, and it's EVM compatible. You can go check that one out. But yeah, it's not the corium that you're thinking.
Yeah.
So bait or Arrow on Base, which is the liquidity hub, right? It's the DEX, AMMs. You can go on there, you can do your DeFi, your all kinds. They have insane rates, but they're backed by Coinbase Venture. If we pull up and check that out, I'm actually going to pull up their
Yeah,
chart. I
sure.
don't,
Pull
unless
that
you
up.
have that. Do you have Arrow on Merlin?
What's the symbol?
AERO.
Oh, I love that one. Of
Yeah,
course
you
we
can look
got, of
that like
course
on the
we got that.
monthly.
Of course
Yeah,
we,
so just to pull that up, look how like
you're
with
talking
these
about Aerodrome
dips.
Finance?
Yes.
I love
I think
Aerodrome.
this is easily going to be a $10 token. At least, I think that whenever we hit the next bear market, the bear market pricing will probably be like sitting where Uniswap was. You know what I mean? But I
Yep.
think it's like the next pancake swap, Uniswap, but it's for Base. And Base is so hot right now. Like everybody is building on Base. A lot of ERC20s, they're moving over to Base. They're relaunching. I mean, you're literally, I love like even just like the meme tokens and stuff on there. I'm paying like 1, 2, 3 cents to swap in Ethereum. That's nothing. This like Arrow literally, well, Base actually literally gave Ethereum a purpose now.
Look at
Honestly,
this
it's
thing.
saving
Nine
ETH.
nine cents. 9 cents 2 months ago to
Right.
$2.
Look at
Putting
this.
up, yep.
Look, it barely budged. Like, I mean, it's fluctuated a little bit with the whole dump and everything, but it was one of the fastest to bounce back.
So look at this thing. We had a peak of 224 a week ago. Now Friday,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
And here we are. It went down to $1.50 or
didn't
$1.71 per
last
lot.
long.
And that was, let's see, on Friday, and over the weekend we didn't even get a retest of the low on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
That's how strong this sucker is. I mean, look at that solid
Mhm.
line. There's a really strong short-term support anyway on this one, and then you can see the levels as it's basing up. I really like this one. Full disclosure, I have this one in my portfolio as well. I really like the fact that where Base is going. And it's one of the few
Mhm.
Base coins, Jenna, that you could actually buy on Coinbase without having to go through the conversion into the Base token. So
Yeah,
really,
full dis like, guys, I also hold this one as well. I don't use Coinbase. I don't like to I think their fees are high and all that stuff.
they
So
are.
if you already have money laying around, you can actually use like I use the MetaMask bridge and bridged Ethereum. I added Base network to my MetaMask, and then I went ahead and just used Uniswap. And I just do everything on a DEX. So to be able to buy my Base tokens and everything, I'm not actively trading, I'm more hodling it. But I went through, I scraped up all my ETH dust from a bunch of stupid tokens I don't care about. And I
Mhm.
just put it all into Arrow. I bridged it all over, put it all into Arrow. I'm just going to leave it because I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a great performer.
I agree with you, Jenna. I love Arrow. It's definitely one of my favorites for sure. Um, from that perspective, Base, like you said, they're building on it. Coinbase is going to be
Mhm.
massive. It's got a huge following. Anytime I can get exposure to anything, base related, I am totally into that one. So, I was hoping, I ain't gonna lie, Jenna, I was hoping it would have pulled back more. I wanted to buy some more, and I was kind of pissed off that it didn't. So I didn't double down on this one. But you know what? Now I might have to take some here because it looks like we're not going to get a better buying out. It doesn't look like even if it comes and pulls back, maybe we get lucky at $1.30. Actually, it's going to be probably more like this, $1.79. So I'm not sure. Yeah, this might be one of those where we may not see it in this zone there goes my camera, for much longer. I'm not sure why, but it may not be there.
Yeah, you
It
gotta
may,
be quick with those tips or just like place those orders. Like, yeah, it jumps up super quick. Johnny, you disappeared on me. Redman says Grok told me Arrow was the most positive investment right now. I haven't double checked that intel, but if so, that's really cool. Grok knows. That's awesome. Cool. Well, I hope it's right. I'd be
yeah.
interested to
Let
try that
me
out.
and I'm gonna pop out and come back in and reset my camera. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. I'm going to take it over to guys, kind of looking over what happened this weekend. Yes, Bitcoin halving, that is this week. That's why I'm wearing a Bitcoin shirt. Guys, no, I did not flip from an XRP maxi to a Bitcoin maxi. It just didn't happen like that. But I do support Bitcoin. How could you not? And if you don't know what the halving is, guys, the block halving happens about every 4 years or every 210,000 blocks on Bitcoin blockchain. That is when the current block reward gets cut in half. The current block reward is 6.25 Bitcoin, and the next block reward will be 3.125 Bitcoin. This creates that whole scarcity concept, right? Everybody's going to start freaking out about BlackRock buying it all up off exchanges, all these big ETF players. We just saw Hong Kong was approved for ETFs. Everybody's going to start buying it up, and it's going to be a lot harder to create. So this is going to drive the price up. Why was this done? Here we go. Let's read about it. Conventional fiat currencies are subject to inflation due to the ability of governments and banks to increase the money supply. We've seen this. Unlike these currencies, Bitcoin has a capped total supply of 21 million Bitcoin, meaning no additional coins can be created beyond this limit. This finite supply, alongside potential changes in demand as more people adopt Bitcoin, it positions it similarly to gold, a resource with a limited supply that cannot be artificially increased. But you can always mine for more gold, right? You cannot mine more Bitcoin, which is probably why Bitcoin's worth a lot more than gold right now. But think about that 21 million. Think about the millions that are actually lost. Think about how many people have lost access to their Bitcoin.
They
It's
say there's
got to be a
about
lot.
they say there's about 4 million that's gone.
There,
So
that
we don't even
bam.
have 21 million. We have
No,
about 17 million. We've mined about 19 of the 21. So there's about 2 million left. So maybe we'll end up somewhere when it's all done. So that means we have about 15 right now. So maybe we'll end up around 17 million when we're all done, Jenna. But think about that. 7 billion people. Maybe we'll be 8 billion soon. Or whenever we get there, right? 10 years from now. Chasing 17 million pieces of something valuable,
right.
and that's all they'll ever be. This is I'm so excited about Bitcoin, and I'm not even listen, guys. I'm not a maxi. I don't own a lot of Bitcoin, but I have been accumulating more Bitcoin, Jenna. Why? I'll tell you. It's the first time in our lifetime, everybody's lifetime, the world has never had an asset, Jenna, that's
Mhm.
finite. Think about it. Gold,
Exactly.
you mine 2% a year. Silver, they continue to mine 2 to 5% a year. Dollars, fiat, they print that son of a bitch every single day. So ain't real estate, they build new houses every day. So there's always a constant supply of these assets. But for the first time ever in our lifetime, there is an asset that the world has linked onto, that latched onto, that believes it could possibly be
Mhm.
the next, if you will, version monetary source or store of value like gold. But it's finite, Jeff. There will never,
Exactly.
ever, 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 ever be more than
Ever.
21 million of these soul bitches, right?
And think
And
about most
so
people will never ever own one. And then you have people like my mom though, and it's a problem. They think that she's like, well, I don't have enough money to buy Bitcoin. And I'm like, no, it's not like that. Like you can just buy a portion of it. You can just buy like sats, Satoshis, right? You can buy sats. You don't have to own a full Bitcoin, but it's that DCAing over time and just moving it to a hardware wallet. If you are forgetful, you lose access to exchanges, whatever, just don't lose your damn seed phrases. Just move it over there, keep it safe. Let that be your retirement fund.
Yep. Nobody's going to talk about Bitcoin as Bitcoin in the next 10 years. They'll be
No.
calling it what you said, Satoshis.
Yep.
Because when you think about it, the reason why they invented Satoshis, right? One Satoshi is 1/1 millionth of a Bitcoin, Jenna. Because now, if you think about this, Jenna, multiply 21 million coins times 1 million Satoshis. That's a shit ton of Satoshis, right? And they're much, much, much cheaper. You can buy a Satoshi for a few bucks, and that's what people will be trading in the future. You and I, folks like you and I, who have been lucky that have been here early enough and have bought, a Bitcoin or a half a Bitcoin or a whole Bitcoin, boy, I'll tell you, man, I will not be surprised. And I have been saying this for a while now. It will not surprise me if 5 to 10 years from now we're sitting here talking about $1 million Bitcoin. It makes sense if it continues to hold its status as digital gold. And we've already got a BTC ETF now, so that has kind of legitimized it, Jenna. We've got people chasing this thing, and it's limited. It will not surprise me after these halvings continue to go that we're sitting here someday talking about a $500,000 to $1 million Bitcoin. And then we're going to be
Right.
kicking ourselves saying, why didn't we buy it at 60? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's not even just like ETFs. There's so many other products that TradFi will come out with, and it'll be like cashback rewards. They're going to be in like Bitcoin rewards, and there's just so many different things that they're going to do with it. I mean, there's so many ways to play the game, right? So I think that yeah, I would not want to not be holding that, right? For every 2 Bitcoin.
Exactly. You definitely. Oh, what do we got here?
Well, that's true. For every 2x Bitcoin price appreciation from here, though, there is a 10x to 1000x in alts or memes. Memes lives matter. While I do agree with that, I think people also need something that's safe, right? And if you're coming from TradFi and memes, that's a huge jump, right? It's a big deal for them just to get into Bitcoin and seeing Bitcoin's fluctuations. I mean, oh my God, like a 30%, 40% correction, they're shitting their pants. Can you imagine like with meme rips and dips, 200%, 1000% in a day? But I don't disagree. I just think it's a risk management. I'm your local resident DGen, and I love my meme coins. And actually, I don't know what happened to Johnny, but I
I'm
am
here.
gonna pull some up.
I'm here.
Hey, he's
Hold
still
on, before
here.
you leave that, I wanna chime in on that bit, Jenna.
Okay.
So let me give a different position on that comment that he had put up there. I'm gonna put that back up. So while this is true today, that we may see, 1028s in altcoins and memes, and I think altcoins will still. I would caution everybody to think about this. When regulation comes,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a different type of market, Jenna. It's going to be like the way where penny stocks were running rampant and wild in the 2000s. Man, you could do anything with them. And it literally, the memes is what penny stocks are doing. And then what they did was they regulated them and said, no, 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 no. Not anybody could just create these things anymore. You're going to have to go through the pink sheets, and you got to create, you got to go through a certain process and register with the SEC. And so my suspicion is when regulation comes, Jenna, we hear this all the time. Most of these coins will go away, right? I think a lot of what we're used to today will be regulated either out of existence or much harder to play, much harder to kind of. It'll still exist. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think the game is going to be as simple or as easy as it is today.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But the thing is, for certain people, like, they have a hard enough time just buying it and everything. I think that they can't watch a chart 24/7 like some of us can, where we can swap in and out. We're watching it. We're like, oh shit, it pumped this much. I'm taking profit, whatever. Some people just want to set it back for the next 5, 10 years, like maybe every now and then take their gains. But so I think it's like it's a different game. It's just all how you want to play the game. And there is nothing wrong with that. Like I've taken profits from, different meme tokens and putting them into, paid off real life debt because, remember, credit card debt is the crusty butthole of your finances. You need to clean that shit up. Okay. No crusty butthole. But, but like pay
Make
off
sure you
some
get your
shit
butt wipes.
and put it into like Bitcoin and stuff like that. Like, yes, it's slower, but, obviously not financial advice or anything. How you play the game is totally up to you. I am going to show a degen chart here. Hang on.
And while you're playing that game, don't forget your Huggies or your butt wipes. What are those butt wipes called?
You know who I heard that from? Nick Diamandi. He said that once on I think it was like Blockchain Basement or something. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Like when you put it that way, I have got to get this taken care of. I can't live my life. So it's
Yep.
awesome. Okay, so I've got the PZ chart pulled up. Last week when I showed it, I showed a possible head and shoulders. We were right to the peak of the right shoulder that could play out. It did play out. It went, came just a little bit down below the last shoulder, the arm of the shoulder. So honestly, a nice little dip going on right now. It's already getting eaten back up again. I still like PZ, a whole PZ. My bag is not as big as what it once was because I told you I took some profit. But I got in at 301, and then we hit at 004. Well, I didn't get to take profit 0043. It was a little bit below that. Just good. I took it a couple times, but I've swapped in and out. And actually playing with it a little bit. I'm going back in because this is really taken off. I really like it. It's community driven and people are really getting into it. PZ is Pepe. But guys, actually, there's one more I want to show before I talk about Pepe. I don't really talk about Pepe much because it's such a high market cap meme token. And I know there's a ton of people into Pepe. I like PZ because PZ is Pepe. That's Pepe's alter ego, the rap version. That's why I like it. And the lower market cap. But Pepe has another purpose coming, another use case. They're working on another project in collaboration. I'm going to show that to you in just a second. But there's another one I just want to check on. Let me see. Johnny's like, here she goes showing shit coins.
No, it's all good. Listen, I know people like them. They're the hot. Where do you buy your PZ, Jenna? Do you go through Uniswap or use Juniper?
Yes, I use Uniswap. I'm on it's on Base, so I had the Base network, obviously, and contract address. But yes, I use Uniswap. Okay, cool. So this is another one that has been doing pretty well. I think the day I bought it, later that day, I had already 6x'd on it. Took a little bit of profit. I don't know what happened with this chart. But either way, it's still like I have marked on here like my entry where I got in still way above, but I still like Inu. So I'm holding a bag of that. I took a little bit of profit, but all the rest is just, moon bag. I think it's going to do really well. It's another small market cap. It just came out of nowhere. It's all community driven, 3.97 million. So those are the ones I like to take chances on. I don't do huge bags of them. Like PZ, I started with, I think it was like $500 to $900. I can't remember, somewhere in there, and it did very well. And then like this one, I just threw a couple $100 in, but I was like, dang, like that's great, nice little gains. It's all what you're willing to lose. But I want to share this. Guys, I don't know if you've heard of Crypto Lifer. I absolutely love Crypto Lifer. I've learned a lot by watching him, but he puts out a really, really great newsletter. It's totally free. And comes to your inbox like once or twice a week. But he has a lot of great info in there, and he'll put out some alpha, and he's been getting into AI lately. So this one caught my attention because I'm all about based, introducing based AI. And it's just something that you guys might want to go check out because I know zero knowledge models, like all of that stuff, is getting a lot of attention. But decentralized peer-to-peer network for zero knowledge large language models. And what I thought was cool, I'm not going to read everything on it, but it's called Based AI Research, and owning a brain in Based AI is akin to holding a cloud services license. Brain owners are incentivized through Based tokens, which are distributed based on brain performance. These tokens are used to encourage the delegation of computational resources by miners and validators who are rewarded for their contributions. The Base AI network fosters a competitive ecosystem with a capped quantity of brains along with a finite number of validators and miners. All participants are motivated by a reward system where compensation correlates with their level of contribution and efficiency. The system, powered by based token rewards, drives all parties to establish and uphold high-performance models. And this is what I found interesting. Developed by Base Labs in collaboration with the founding team of Pepe Coin. Base AI leverages Pepe as both currency for acquiring brains and as the governing medium for network-wide decisions. This could be very, very bullish for the price of Pepe. Pepe coin plays and that was my opinion, Pepe coin plays a crucial role in incentivizing participation and ensuring network governance. So you can read more about that and go do some research on that. But based AI, I think it's neat. I think it's worth taking a peek at. And shouts to Crypto Lifer for putting that in his newsletter. I think that was a great little gem he came across. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what, Jen, I think that in this current bull run, there's going to be primarily three main narratives that I'm looking for that I think will be huge. One will be, I think gaming will find us a way in there. But the two big ones will be real world asset tokenization, thanks to our boy Larry Fink, and AI, no question about it. These are the three hot spaces that I think everybody pretty much is aware now is going to be coming. And so, you know, this is be careful because there'll also be a lot of scams out there in those spaces. But this is the area where you're going to see a lot of hot action, a lot of tokens and things going in. And base being a very, very popular, you know, upcoming layer two because of it being with Coinbase, I think is going to be huge. So that coupled with AI, that has me very, very, very excited. So certainly, and then obviously tied in with Pepe, you know, and so there's a lot of excitement. I think is going to be around this space. A lot of money to be made for sure. But I think what's
Absolutely.
important, we should tell everybody, is make sure you take profits. So important, guys. These things don't continue to go up forever. You need to have an exit plan. And if you don't have a tracker, you know, you can look into it, get into a crypto tracker, do something so that you have a plan.
Right. Hey, Kelly buddy in the house. What's up, my homie?
Kelly!
Yeah,
What's up, Kelly?
don't be greedy like me. Like, take your profits and run. Guys, you can't have all the profits. You're not going to have all the profits. Don't be greedy. Stick to your plan. Make the plan and be happy, right? Be grateful. Be grateful for all of your gains. Johnny.
Yes.
I see this news here. You know about this. You want to tell us about
Yeah,
it?
I'll talk. Yeah. So, you know, everybody always asks me about real world use cases and real live examples of blockchain technology being used. And I saw this news this weekend. I found this very, very fascinating, Jenna, where VeChain announcing that they're going to be tokenizing gloves in partnership with UFC. And so basically what they're going to do is going to be putting a chip inside of the glove, be able to track some of the fight data, and then be able to go ahead and sell these as a real world asset play. So to me, this is just another use case example of where you may see blockchains coming into play, being able to, for example, VeChain is all about tracking your supply chain, your logistics from when something was created all the way through to, you know, cradle to life or cradle to grave, we like to say, you know, from when it was built to when it's put to bed. but VeChain allows you to kind of see that whole entire path of where it is, where it's gone, but to be able to then tokenize it and be able to own a piece of it through their right there. So you'll still put the chip inside of it, and then they'll be able to, through the VeChain Thor network smart contracts, they're going to be able to track what's going on, and then they'll give these things away or they'll sell them. But the point is, it's another way of how you're starting to see examples of real world things being tokenized, being converted to a digital asset that you can actually, you know, take part of. And so, you know, you just want to look at these kind of use cases, and then you decide for yourself, are these technologies that you think will get adopted by the world in mass adoption? Because if so, well, then that's something that obviously you want to own or have a piece of. Because while people are having fun right now in the meme coins, Jenna, I don't really play meme coins. I'm more about what's real world assets, what's real world solutions that I think are going to be here for the next 10, 15, 20 years that are going to go massively high and have sustainable price appreciation. Right? Meme coins are just going to go up and then go down. They're going to be speculative plays, right? But real world assets.
Yes. This is going to be in front of everybody, Johnny. Yeah. Like, this is going to be in front of everybody, guys. This isn't like, you know, Money Mayweather, like, oh, I'm going to pump and dump Emacs. I bought the top of that, by the way. Live and learn, guys. But this is an actual partnership with UFC. You're going to see VeChain plastered everywhere, and VeChain's easy for normal people to buy, right? It's on like all the biggest exchanges and stuff like that. I think last bull run, like what, in 2021, we saw it hit 24 cents, and people were saying, oh, it's undervalued then. I don't know if they just wanted to keep pumping. They might have been longs. I don't know. But here's the thing. I think it's great. I'm actually writing that down because I do want to get some of that on the dip and see where it's at. Yeah, no, this is huge. Everything's going to be tokenized. Like literally anything you could think of is going to be tokenized on the blockchain. This is where we're going. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Crypto Face. He's in the house. He's hanging out. He is on Twitter. Yeah, we're doing good, Johnny. We got like 500 viewers on X. So cool. Rock on.
Yeah,
Hey guys,
let's
if
go. Sweet.
smash that like though. If you want to come in here and jump in the live chat, we are on YouTube, so definitely do that. Smash that like on your way in. Tell a friend about it. We would appreciate it. All right. So what else we got going on, Johnny?
Well, so if you want, we can kind of talk about, I don't know, this weekend's. So obviously this weekend was a very, very interesting correction we had in the market, driven primarily by, I guess obviously we had the whole war, right? That was kind of shocking the nation there. And I guess that's always going to create some uncertainty, Jenna. I think it was really kind of more of a combination of it was time to clean out the leverage anyway. And why not do what better time to do it than when there's bad news in the world? It always is very interesting to me, Jenna, how the negative things always line up with some kind of negative news in the marketplace. Don't you find that fascinating?
Oh, absolutely. But I don't think there are any coincidences anymore. But it was a rocky road. I don't normally love to pull up crypto potato articles. They're not my favorite news source. But honestly, I think that they kind of covered pretty well what went on over the past week and the weekend. It was really bumpy, guys. I already told you this earlier in the show about what happened to me, and was not expecting that. I went from danger zone to prey zone very, very quickly, and I couldn't pray hard enough.
Yep.
Was Bitcoin's 10K weekend crash the last correction before the next Bitcoin halving? Here's the thing. End of the day, no one can 100% know or predict this. But we have started to recover nicely and is good. So what started all of this? Earlier in the week, we had the first decline got blamed on the latest US Fed Reserve statements. And we know, and I showed that earlier in the week too. And I was like, we got 4 red folders coming out on Forex Factory calendar. If you want to know when they're having the Fed meetings and everything, check out Forex Factory calendar. It's a wealth of knowledge for that. So the market could get rocky, but I played it anyway. So that was our first decline. And then later, escalating tension in the Middle East and Iran's retaliation against Israel. So that just made us plummet even more. Johnny, as you said earlier in the show, the crypto market cap plunged by about 460 billion since Friday morning. And also think about Arthur Hayes is mentioned here, and last week he put out a statement saying he also believed that there would be a significant dip because of people cashing out to pay taxes. And I really didn't think, it's like, is that going to have a huge impact? Like, I think it did add to it as well. So another analyst goes on to say Bitcoin is down 16% from the high so far. This is a normal drop. In fact, we've had several 20 to 22% drops this cycle, but this time it could develop into something more. And they go through to talk about that. But Johnny, what are your thoughts on price action this weekend? What happened? Where we're headed?
So, for me, it was definitely overdue, Jenna. We were getting too hot. Fear and greed index was too high. We hadn't had the normal cycling of the weekends wash out, right? You need that for us to continue to move up higher. Normally, when I looked at this, I ain't gonna lie to you, Jenna. When you look in the past, typically we see 30% pullbacks. So I'm still waiting for the 30% pullback. And as you saw right up above, he had said we've only had about 16% pullback. So 30% brings us to around 50K. I am praying. I actually was hoping we would have got that 50K Saturday. I really was hoping that would have been it. We would have got the 30% pullback. It would have been out, and we would have been really, really ready to go. But we didn't get it. I'm not so sure now we're going to get it. I think we'll get a double tap. We'll retest this bottom again. It seems to sit very, very strong around 60 to 61. There is a rock wall there of some people buying. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if we bust through that. If we do, we will definitely probably go down and test 50K, Jenna. For me, that's where I'm going to be super excited and super bullish. I will be super bullish at buying if we see 50K. And we retest that level before we go up, but not so sure that's going to happen anymore. I think it has changed. I think the dynamics have changed a bit now that we have the Bitcoin ETF in play, and that's great. It's generating a constant demand for Bitcoin that we haven't had the luxury of having in the past, Jenna. So for me, that's one of the things that I was looking for that I don't think is going to happen. But yeah, we needed this clean out. We needed to come back and double tap. In fact, I want to share. I will share with you. Oh, here it is. You know, when you look at one of my favorite influencers, educators, whatever you want to call them in the space to follow is BC Backer or Blockchain Backer. And you can see here, he literally had called out that we needed this test, you know, this pullback or this test back into this what he calls 702 area. And he was waiting for it. And when he made a video, this leg hadn't been here. And he said it was going to be coming. And man, once again, BC Backer was correct. Love the guy. And now that we've retested this area, we get a little sideways. I think we'll come up a little bit. We'll double tap back down. And then boom, off to the races we go. So for me, that's what I'm looking to see. He thinks it might just be just a V bottom. We may not even get a double tap. Maybe we just go all the way up from here. Maybe we get a little sideways action, and then we're on our way up. But for me, that's kind of why I'm excited and why I was buying. For me, what was interesting this weekend, Jenna, was Saturday night. Everything's crashing. I go into my Kraken account to go because I wanted to go in and I wanted to do some buying, right? And this is what I get. Sorry, we'll be back soon. Site was down. It was wiped out. I'm like, yeah, I was so pissed off I couldn't get in, right? These exchanges go down right at the times when you need. But you know what's cool, Jenna? While the exchange was down, my crypto tracker wasn't. Merlin was still up and running. It was working. And what was cool was, now you can't trade on Merlin, right? We're not an exchange. We're just a tracker. Yeah. Well, what was cool is I was actually able to see. Now, this isn't my account. This was a demo account. But the point was my actual account was working. I could see what it was doing. I could see where we were pulling back. And it was really, really at least relieving to know what the value of my entire portfolio was doing. Because if I was relying on the exchanges, guess what? I would have been in the dark. I would have been blind. But I wasn't. It was really, really cool to be able to know what's going on. So I encourage everybody, if you don't have a crypto tracker, you want to bring your stuff in one spot, click on the link below. Jenna's got her link down there. Click on that, sign up. You get a free 30 days, Jenna, that people can try it out. And what's really cool is you can create an exit plan. And when you have that exit plan, what I did was I had created an exit plan, but I also had some buys. So I had put a couple of I had sold a little bit of my Bitcoin, right? And so I said, let me put in a couple limit orders into Kraken. Thank God I did, Jenna. They actually went off that night. Thank you, Brian. They went off, and I was actually able to buy, all because it all started with the fact that I was thinking about an exit plan in the first place and get the mind thinking. And so I just encourage everybody. It was really, really cool to know what was going on for the first time and not be in the blind like I was in 2021 when all these exchanges were going down. And I had no clue what my account was doing.
And Johnny, you bring up a good point with all of this and the exchanges. Guys, so I help my mom with crypto and everything, and my mom is really forgetful and messes up things, locks herself out of things all the time. And the safest thing to do is to move everything over to hardware wallets and keep track of your hardware wallets. Or if you have, like Exodus or soft wallet that you like as well, cool. But with that being said, with all of the exchanges, oh man, I just had something. Oh, it was about all the locked out stuff. I don't know. Go ahead and show your Merlin, because I just had a huge point and it
I
totally
just wanted
went away.
You brought up a great point. What's cool about Merlin, right, is once you go and you take all your things and put them off the exchanges, you can see here that you can add all your exchanges, Jenna, here. And what's cool about it is you can get all your things off the exchanges, put them into wallets, right? Whether you want to use a ledger or whatever you want to use, wherever you put it, you can take it there, but yet you can still see what they're actually all doing because Merlin brings them all together to be able to show you today. Now, remember, we don't custody your coins. We don't hold any keys, none of that stuff, guys. So Merlin's a read-only access. But what's cool, like Jenna said, is if it's her mom and she starts taking things off and putting them in all these different ledgers, then you're like, well, what's my account worth, Jenna? How would you know? You wouldn't know, right? You're gonna have a ledger over here, you're gonna have a ledger over there, you might have a treasurer, you may have all these, you may have a decent wallet, and you got 3-4 different things. You're like, well, what the heck's what's everything doing? And that's what's exciting about Merlin, is you can bring it all together and see it all in one space.
I remembered what I was going to say. Okay. Keep your eyes open, guys. KYC rules for exchanges are changing. So if you are a trader like me, like for example, with Mexi, I got a notification. Sometimes my VPN isn't always turned on and I don't know how I get through their geofence, but I do. And I'm trading in the US and they caught me. And they were like, you have until June to KYC. If you're not out of all of your positions, we will liquidate you. Oh, well, okay. They're not messing around. So I have like until I think it's like June 20th or something. Lucky for them, I am almost out of all my positions. Yes, I don't have to worry about that. But no, and here's the thing: if it's over $1,000 with a lot of these exchanges, if you're not KYC'd, you'll only be able to move $1,000 a day. Guys, if you have stacks, that's not very much. So you're going to be busy every single day trying to move 1,000. But if you KYC, then you can. But if if a lot of these exchanges don't allow the US to trade, because let's be real, a lot of them block out the US because of all of our shitty laws, whatever they even are, crypto bad, right? They don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to have any issues with the SEC. But I personally got a pullout ID to allow me to KYC and trade on these different exchanges. That's my way around it for now. Not financial advice, but a VPN and a pullout ID could work wonders. But just be careful because if
say more. What'd you call it? A pullout ID?
Pullout ID. That's actually where wasn't Ripple working on their CBDC there? Pullout, yeah, PALAU. Yeah.
How did you get one of those? How did you get one?
I paid $249. I snapped a selfie. I gave them my ID, and people are like, aren't you afraid what they're going to do with your information? I'm like, with my driver's license I don't give a shit. Like, I want to trade and I'm stashing my crypto. Why is somebody going to hack my bank account? I fiat broke, dude. Like, I'm like, what are they really going to do? So not worried about it. I guess there could be repercussions if US catches you, but I'm not a big guy, so I don't know. I'm not, and I'd rather just ask for forgiveness than permission.
It'll be nice. US, hopefully in this next election we'll get hopefully a change at the administration level at the top, which I think then will change everything coming downward. And I think we'll have more crypto-friendly people in the office, and hopefully we'll get some regulation, and that will hopefully open the doors to these exchanges. Will feel comfortable working with the US. Whereas right now, you're right, most of these exchanges, when you go use them, you can't.
No, exactly.
It's true that KuCoin has blocked everybody. You can't trade in the US anymore. That was a big one.
Yeah,
BitTrue used to be a big one that you could trade.
I left money on KuCoin too, and that's an example. I went back and I could not move my tokens off. I could trade out of them, but I can't move anything off. So I can't do anything until I have and so until I submit my plow ID to them. And that's another reason why I'm like, how rude.
Yeah, it is really sad. So let's hope the US gets their butt together, Jenna, get their shit together and start getting regulation in place so that we can actually finally be able to trade like the rest of the world can.
I wanted to share something. So on Bitcoin chart, something that I like, and I'm not freaking out yet about like a, huge danger zone or whatever. I'm not worried about $3,000 Bitcoin. I think that was something. Didn't BC Backers say $3,000 Bitcoin, Johnny?
Yeah, I think he called. I think one of his videos.
Did he give up on that?
I would imagine that he might have had a change of heart. I
Well,
think
you
you
could
saw.
always put a stink buy in.
Mhm.
Well, anywho, so I've been doing this thing, and for the past, like week and a half, been doing this thing I figured out. And it's with the 100 EMA, which is the red squiggly line that you'll see on my screen, and
Mhm.
the green, which is the 50 EMA. Okay, so here's an example, and you can back test this, which is what I love. If you go on to TradingView, you can just sit for hours. You can back test, to see every time that this worked out. And this is a pretty tried and true method. Now, wipe out all of the different indicators that I have on here. That's all noise. You don't even need to see them.
Mhm.
So for example, this is a 2-hour chart, and you can do this with any of the charts. But where you see where the green right here, the green line, which is the 50 EMA, crosses over the
Yep.
red. Okay,
Yep.
so you see where we start to go up and have an uptrend. And then when you see the green cross over the red, time short, now we're kind of bearish, right? We're not going up. And same thing, when the green gets above the red, boom, okay? Over here, we fall below and we're shorting. We're staying bearish, right? We're still in the danger zone. We haven't come up even close to crossing over. Now, if we zoom out and look at like Bitcoin on the daily, we're still above or right at that green 50
Mm.
EMA. We haven't lost that yet because it hasn't crossed over the red yet, right? And put us into that danger zone. So
Great
like
point.
like we saw, look, when you back test and
Yo.
you're looking here in 2022 on the
Yep.
daily where we come down, and that's all we did. We never crossed back over. We got close. We thought maybe we might here April
Mhm.
22, but no, we just kept going down, down, down. And then finally, you guys all know, January we've been in an uptrend
Mhm.
right here.
Yeah,
January
you're right. We're
2023.
starting to look a little overextended. That green over the red, though, it almost looks like 2021 again. This is getting a little scary. You're absolutely right.
It is, but we haven't come down. We haven't crossed over it yet. So, I mean, and the cool part is now this is an indicator. It's my chart prime oscillator, and I'm looking at it and I'm seeing my green reversal triangle. So I'm hoping that that actually plays out and that is a nice reversal for us. So we'll see. I mean, only time will tell if, we go to a full blown war and, everything could just go to shit. We don't know. We don't know if, the 40% corrections are now a 20% correction. It's still
That's right.
too new to fully say, hey, I know this is going to happen. The truth is, we can only make our best predictions. But that's why, honestly, I'm just looking like day by day, week by week. It's the easiest way to go.
And here's the other thing too. We don't know. It's like we don't know where the right price for Bitcoin should be after the halving. And we haven't had that yet, right? We have the halving coming this weekend. And then the question is, where do we need, where is the right price for Bitcoin, right? Or did it already do its doubling? We know historically it'll double or triple or go up significantly higher after the halving, but we've never had it do it before the halving like we've seen now because of the Bitcoin ETF that changed the game and drove in a lot more liquidity. So the real question, Jen, is, are we even going to? There's a lot of talk of seeing, 140 to 160 to 180 to 200K, or like you said, do we, is it, are we ready to roll over and come back down? Who knows? It's going to be very, very interesting to see how this whole thing plays out once we get this next halving.
I mean, like, I want so badly because of, being a recovering XRP maxi to be bullish on XRP. But honestly, until the 50 crosses back over the 100, that green crossing back over the red, I can't. I can't get bullish until I see that happening. We're still just so bearish right now, honestly. You can just, like, right here, I was long because I jumped the gun. We didn't even cross over, but I was like, oh, we're so close. We're going to cross. We broke out of this downtrend. Look, we're consolidating. We're going to blast off. That was like my mentality. I had a $30,000 long position, did not play out. But you know what? That's life. That shit happens, man.
Yep.
But
Yep.
hey, what are you going to do? What are
Here's
you
the
going
good
to
news. You'll never make that mistake again, right?
do?
And
No, I won't.
you'll use it to actually make you more money in the future. So
yes,
look,
100%. All right, guys. And also, I want to remind you, Bitcoin Energy Summit is coming up in Miami next week. So that is going to be a blast. If you're going, let me know, because like, want to hang out? It'll be a fun time. And smash that like for us. Just give us some love. Helps with the algo.
That's right. Smash the like button. And guys, don't forget, we have the Freedom Conference at the end of this month. And then XRP Las Vegas Conference, which Jenna and I will be there. So if you guys want to come, we'll be shaking hands and kissing babies. So come on down. We'd love to be able to meet you guys in person live at the XRP Vegas Conference. And we will have a booth there as well. So come and find me and Jenna. We'll be at the Merlin booth at Brad Kimes' event. Digital Perspectives is hosting the second annual XRP Las Vegas 2024 event. So that's going to be really, really exciting, Jenna. And it's a much bigger event than he did the first time around.
Well, I'd rather kiss your dog than your baby, but that's fine. All right. No, I'm just kidding. Kids are great. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We love you. Don't forget, we've got links down below for everything. Peace out. Mucho love.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.